What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing. I just finished up watching Hasim Rahman Jr. versus Greg Hardy, and this was a four-rounder in the heavyweight division. And this fight was Saturday, November 19th, from the Moody Theater in Austin, Texas. And this fight was broadcasted on DAZN, and it was part of DAZN's X Series. And in this fight, Greg Hardy upset Hasim Rahman Jr., defeating him by a clear-cut unanimous decision victory. So I personally scored this bout 39-36 in favor of Greg Hardy, and I agreed with all three judges who also scored about the same at 39-36. So, just first, before I get into the fight and everything, I'm not 100% sure if this really is going to count on both their pro records, because if it does, that's a big blow to Hasim Rahman Jr., and I believe BoxRec did have this bout listed as a full-fledged pro bout, even though it was only a four-rounder and it was part of DAZN's quote-unquote X Series. I don't even know what it truly is, but still, this is a big win for Greg Hardy nonetheless. He was going into this fight as a late replacement. He's a football player turned MMA fighter, fought in the UFC, but here he fought a pro boxer and son of a former heavyweight champion in Rockman. And he beat him. So just to break this fight down round by round, the first round was a pretty clear round for Hasim Rahman Jr. and the only round he would get in this fight, as he was just outboxing Greg Hardy in this fight. The ring was very small, actually, which is something to note. It was much smaller than a ring you would see in normal, pro boxing. But, this card was made for, fighters with limited experience, so I'm sure they just want the fans who I would imagine aren't really hardcore boxing fans that were watching this fight to just see a lot of action. And that's what we saw in this fight, because it was such a small ring. Rockman didn't have anywhere to go. He was primarily just on the back foot in this fight. In the first round, he was just countering Hardy and won it clearly. However, in the second round, Hasim Rahman Jr. was hurt with a big right hand. He was backed up against the ropes. Hardy started throwing big combinations on Rahman Jr., knocked his mouthpiece out. Then his mouthpiece got put back in after a full-fledged barrage from Hardy. Then Rahman Jr.'s legs still didn't look good from under him, and then there was a big right hand from Hardy that sent Rahman Jr. down. So that was a big 10-8 round for Greg Hardy. Then in round number 3, Rahman Jr. looked gun-shy. He was just backed into the ropes with a big right hand. It could have actually been called a technical knockdown, honestly, because the ropes were holding up Rahman Jr. in that third round. But, the ref didn't call it that, but it was still a clear round for Greg Hardy. In the fourth round, Rahman Jr. needed something to do to win, but he didn't really do enough. Greg Hardy was just pressing the pace and won the round clearly as well. So if you are watching this fight, comment down below your thoughts on it and what do you think could be next. Obviously, this goes to the question, what is next for Greg Hardy? So I believe in the boxing ring, if this counts as a pro win, he'll be 2-0. And this is actually a massive win for him, because this could open up a lot of opportunities for him to make a big paycheck on DAZN. I'm sure he made a decent one here, stepping in late. And the thing is, obviously for him, it's not going to be fighting for a world championship in the near future or fighting for legacy. For him, it's prize fighting. He's fighting here on this sort of DAZN card that's built for social media stars, YouTubers, whatnot. But still, he got a win over a real pro boxer. And I know he had combat sports experience before, but, I could definitely see him coming back on here on the DAZN X Series, maybe fighting Vitor Belfort, who was a fighter that Hasim Rahman Jr. was supposed to face. Who knows, someone along those lines on maybe another DAZN X Series card, someone like that. But I definitely see him coming back on DAZN and fighting on one of these X Series cards in the near future. But as for Hasim Rahman Jr., this is a big blow to his career. Whether this counts on his pro record as a second loss or not, this is a big blow. I know that he has there was a 100-pound difference with him and Hardy in their weight, but still, he was fighting a guy who really had limited boxing experience. And, Rahman Jr.'s defense got exposed. That's what happened when he fought, I believe it's Mackenzie Morrison, something like that. I can't really remember his first name, but it was one of the Morrison, sons of Tommy Morrison. But, really his defense and his chin isn't that great. And this would only question what he would have done against Jake Paul, or what would have happened. I know Jake Paul's more than 100 pounds less than Greg Hardy, but who knows what could have happened. But the thing is, I think Hasim Rahman Jr., his career is done as a true pro boxer. I think for these next few years, he's going to be fighting on these big, popular social media cards that DAZN has, fighting maybe even Jake Paul in the near future if they could actually make the fight happen. Just I see him just not really taking his real career seriously and fighting real full-fledged guys, but I do see him maybe making some decent money prize fighting on these social media cards or along those lines. But nonetheless, I don't really see him succeeding in the true pro boxing ranks. So overall, Greg Hardy drops and upsets Hasim Rahman Jr., defeating him by a clear-cut unanimous decision victory. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.